So we have confirmation once again that we can expect the iPhone SE this week. I repeat, this week, which means in a few days or even a few hours, we could see this new iPhone go official. Now, of course, there's not going to be a snazzy event for this. It's likely going to be a press release. So yeah, this could really drop any time. We just have to keep our eyes peeled and we should just keep refreshing Apple's website. So recently there's been conflicting rumors regarding the iPhone SE4 coming with a notch or dynamic island, but now credible display analyst Ross Young chimes in and tells us we should see, drumroll, a notch. Which is not surprising, I told you guys. I've been saying since day one that Apple wants its iPhone to look more dated compared to newer iPhone models, and so a notch does just that when the rest of the range of course has an island. And yes, I know some of you guys had mentioned that sales are slow in key countries like China right now, and so Apple may not want to risk the iPhone looking too outdated, which is a fair point, but then again, Apple would rather you buy higher end iPhones. The smartphone market has matured, and so whilst they're not shipping as many iPhones as before, if they can get most to buy the highest end devices, that's upwards of $1,000, there's no real difference revenue-wise. So in a way, the iPhone SE4 looking outdated does benefit Apple. This is big brain stuff from Timothy, and the man knows how to generate revenue. And so whilst I do still think the SE4 is going to be great value, there will be shortcomings that will get you to buy more expensive iPhones. It's also why I don't see a dynamic notch coming to this iPhone, as someone had mentioned in the comments. I think again, Apple would rather leave those fancy animations as a premium feature to upsell people. Anyway, we have a video and pictures of quite detailed models of the SE4, which for one show us a notch, and on the back there will be one single camera that's going to be 48 megapixels, just like iPhone 16. The rails of the device should be aluminium, just like every other non-Pro iPhone. There is no action button or camera control to be found on these dummies, so that remains an exclusive for the higher end models, which I'm not surprised by. I guess we can live with the mute switch for a lower price, though I won't deny an action button on this would have been nice. You know what else would be nice? If you click that subscribe button, of course. It's free and would bring you the latest about Apple right to your subscription box, so please consider it. It would be appreciated. Join the Saranbyte gang now. Now, similar to Sonny Dixon's models, these dummies only come in black and white, and considering Apple stopped producing red iPhones all of a sudden, I do wonder if this will be the first iPhone since the 10 to not come in any other color except black and white. That's gonna be a little boring, but maybe that's an intentional decision to maybe upsell consumers to higher end iPhones with their wider range of colors, since regular consumers care a lot about colors, and they might be swayed by the more expensive 15 or 16 solely for this reason. These dummies do however feature a matte finish on the back, so unlike the iPhone SE3 which has a glossy finish, this will look a lot more like the iPhone 15 and 16 with a frosted finish, which is a nice touch. But overall guys, when you look at the design and the specs of the SE4, even with the notch, this does sound a little too good to be true. But this phone does have an Achilles heel, and that's the fact it could be one of Apple's first devices to use their in-house modem. For those unaware, Apple currently relies on Qualcomm for the modems they use in their iPhones, but a couple of years ago they had bought out Intel's modem business to use as a basis for their own modems. Now in the iPhone 10 and 10s days, those Intel modems are not fantastic, but anyway, we are finally getting products with these, and first up will be the iPhone SE4 in March. According to Mark Gurman, Apple's modems should give us theoretical speeds of up to 4 gigabits per second, which is slower than Qualcomm modems Apple currently uses, and also these won't feature millimeter wave. There could also be issues with call reception, which is a very key feature of a phone, and so whilst Apple apparently has let employees secretly test these modems already, they likely won't be coming to higher end iPhones anytime soon because it's a first generation modem. But these disadvantages aren't as big of an issue when it comes to a lower end device, so using the SE as a guinea pig isn't a bad idea. Now it's not all doom and gloom, because there will be some advantages when it comes to Apple's in-house modems, such as lower power consumption, improved cellular network scanning, and satellite connectivity enhancements. These will be produced by TSMC, and Apple plans these modems to replace Qualcomm's technology in iPhones by 2027. So we are still a while away before these modems become the de facto standard. But yes, hopefully there aren't too many issues with these first-gen modems. I'm sure speeds are going to be slower, but that works in Apple's favor once again, since that will push consumers to buy higher-end iPhones. But hopefully the speeds aren't too bad. Anyway, let's now recap everything we know about the iPhone SE, and guess what? Gurman does exactly that in a new report. So for one, he says this will be similar to the iPhone 14, which is not really a surprise at this point. All the dummies point to this, but Gurman also chiming in and corroborating on this is great news. This alone means we're getting Face ID instead of Touch ID, and of course a 6.1-inch OLED display, which would be a massive upgrade over the 4.7-inch LCD we have right now on the SE3. But more excitingly, Gurman clarifies on some confusion regarding whether the SE4 will get Apple Intelligence support or not. Previously, Ice Universe had mentioned we could see, and I quote, 6 to 8 gigs of LPDDR5 memory, which does suggest you might get different amounts around depending on the storage tier you go with. This is quite common in the Android space, but of course would be a first for the iPhone, though do remember Apple has done this with the iPad Pro for a while, with the base models getting 8 gigs and higher storage variants getting 16 gigs. But the issue is, if certain variants of the SE had 6 gigs of RAM, they would not be able to run Apple Intelligence. You need a minimum of 8 gigs. And so as I'd mentioned previously, I don't see Apple doing this. Apple Intelligence is such a key feature, and they would not restrict that to higher storage variants. That made no sense. And thankfully, Gurman does confirm that SE4 is going to have full Apple Intelligence support, so expect 8 gigs as standards. To be fair, considering the A18 is only in the iPhone 16 right now, and that has 8 gigs of RAM, they're likely just going to be recycling those SoCs and chucking them in the iPhone SE4 as well. Moving on to other details about the iPhone SE4, according to Leaker Unknowns 21, partially assembled prototypes of the next SE have been equipped with lithium-ion batteries bearing the model number A2863, which Apple has already used in the past for, guess what? Huge surprise! You didn't see this coming! The iPhone 14. Yeah, that's kinda expected because this is based on the iPhone 14. Now the actual capacity of the battery is 3,279 mAh, which is a massive upgrade over the 2018 mAh battery the current SE has. I actually used to use the SE3 as a beta testing device, and whilst the battery life wasn't terrible, it's only just about good enough in my opinion. I was cutting it close on most days, and so this phone having a battery capacity similar to the 14 is fantastic news because, in my experience, that got me 7 or 8 hours of screen on time, which is plenty enough for most consumers. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching. I still don't know why leakers are going on about this, but we have more news regarding the camera bump on iPhone 17, yes. That's what people are fighting over nowadays because every leak will get new conflicting rumors that go against what others have said before. So for those unaware, initially we were expecting a new horizontal layout similar to the Pixel, which would make this iPhone stand out compared to every other iPhone since the 11 Pro, which has had the same stove camera layout. However, there is a reason Apple stuck to this familiar design, and it's not because they're lazy, it's because the lenses are at equal distance from each other, which allows for seamless switching between the lenses, but also the positioning of the camera now helps the iPhone record spatial video for the Vision Pro, and so moving these lenses could break these key aspects of the camera experience, hence why other leakers have been suggesting the stove design is going to remain, and Apple instead is going to incorporate a part aluminium, part glass back cover. And that's what we see in this new leak that's an alleged CAD render of the 17 Pro, though I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's very easy to fake these kind of rumors, so please take it with a massive grain of salt.